Good morning and welcome to another Aloha Friday. This is week 12 wrap up. Definitely had an eventful week last week with Halloween and the election and everything that's going on here at school. Definitely seems like the kids are wound up a little bit, and we're doing a full day of testing today, COGAT testing, so that should be really interesting. As far as when I look into next week, some important things for parents to keep in mind is November 11th is midterms. That's when midterm ends, and so that's important, remember, because all assignments will close in Canvas on that day. So if there are any assignments that are missing, and a good place to go to check that is to go into Canvas and the grades tab. That will show you all assignments that might be not having been submitted. It also will give you the opportunity to kind of see which ones might need to be redone and can be to improve the grade. I also suggest going into Skyward and seeing which grades from Canvas are being reported into Skyward. And then that way, that'll kind of let you target what are the most influential, the ones that are the assignments which are being reported for that grade. And so that was something that's really good to keep in mind. Another thing I wanted to talk about was how Johnson County has now moved into the orange range and what effect that might have on our schools. I think I've mentioned before, I like to go to the schools the Center Grove Schools status page, and I tend to look at these COVID-related absence numbers, and those are reported, I think, weekly. I honestly don't know, but I check that probably 2 or 3 times a week and find that information real useful as far as where things are going here at Center Grove. And even though Johnson County has moved into the orange range, Center Grove has decided to stay with in-person learning. There's a lot of reasons for that, and that is a decision that's made certainly over my pay grade. But one of the things that I think is most important, and I talk with students about, is that a lot of the things that we're doing in the buildings is what's allowing us to stay in person. And so specifically, I talk about the 3 W's. You know, we wear our mask, we wash our hands, and we watch our distance. Now, watching our distance is really difficult in a middle school setting. And so that just means that the other 2 are even more important. And so, you know, we wear our mask and we wash our hands. And so those are and wash our work areas, another thing that we do here at school. And so those things have shown to make a really big and dramatic impact on reducing the spread here at school. You know, research has really shown that a lot of the transmission that's happening with school age kids is happening outside of school. And there's not a lot we can do about that. But, you know, what we can definitely do is we talk about controlling what's within our control. And, you know, we can't control what's not in our control. And that has shown to have a really big and positive impact on reducing the spread here at school. And so definitely encourage kids to stay at home if they're feeling sick, but in-person learning is definitely what we find to be most successful for our students. If a student does need to stay at home, and we have several students who are having to stay at home, I have found that the most impactful thing is for those kids to continue to check Canvas, continue to do their work even while they're at home, and that definitely softens the difficulty when they transition back into the classroom. And so I have several students right now who've been out for quite a while, but are continuing to maintain the work that they do in Canvas and are right where they need to be. So, we had several kids who took a quiz yesterday, and those kids, even though they have been out, are testing very well, are staying right where they need to be, are getting their work completed. Now, understandably, there might be situations where a kid cannot do that, and we certainly make allocations for those kids on an individual basis. But when possible, we definitely want kids to be checking Canvas, even when they're at home, and are going to stay in person as long as we possibly can. And hopefully we won't have to go back to the blended model. As far as where we're at in each of our classes, science just finished their quiz over trends of the periodic table. I updated all those grades yesterday, and so all of those grades should be taken care of. I have a couple kids that I need to get some makeups on early next week before we report midterm grades. And then with science, we're going to be moving into chemical bonds, specifically ionic and covalent bonding, before we start talking a little bit about chemical reactions. Honors science is already moving into chemical reactions, and we'll start talking about different types of chemical reactions, chemical reactions versus chemical properties versus physical properties, and a lot of that type of stuff from last year. I do anticipate being able to finish a lot of that with honors science before Thanksgiving break. Science, we have to take things a little slower, so I do not anticipate another quiz in science until after Thanksgiving break. But always, if you're curious as far as how I'm kind of mapping things out, remember you can go to my plan book, and that'll give you kind of a good idea on where things stand. Again, it's kind of like a weather forecast. I do about a week at a time, and so the further you go out, the more unrealistic or invalid that data might be as far as where we're going to actually be at a specific time. But I tend to do pretty well with a week at a time. So next week is pretty well mapped out. There's definitely some things I need to go back and tweak and update. But again, the plan book is a great place to go. I'll go ahead and update a link in the email for this that will have links to all those again. So have a great week, and quick reminder that midterms next week, and get all those assignments turned into Canvas. So thank you so much, and have a great week.